The sports page with the Orlando Sentinel and FM 96.9 The Game's Mike the Bulldog Bianchi.
On JRR.
All right, Bulldog, I'm thinking you're going to want to probably start with the Magic, who locked down the seventh playoff spot last night.
Hey, defending champion Boston Celtics. How did that taste?
Hold on, settle down.
96-76. They beat the Celtics. I don't want to hear that the Celtics were sitting all of their starters just because they've already clinched the number 2 seed in the. Okay, so that's what happened. The Celtics weren't trying to win last night. They played none of their starters. So the result for the Celtics was meaningless, but not for the Magic. They needed to win the game. They clinched the 7 seed in home court in the postseason play-in tournament with the victory. It's unclear who they will play in the first round of the play, and that'll be Tuesday night, by the way, at Kia Center. The Atlanta Hawks are currently the 8 seed, and that the Magic will play the 8 seed. They're the 7 seed. They'll play the 8 seed right now. The Hawks are the 8 seed, but they're only a half game up on the Bulls and a game and a half ahead of the Heat. Looks like it's going to be down between the Bulls and the Hawks. Of who the Magic play in the first round of the play-in.
Who'd you rather play?
I'd sort of like, I always vote for the storyline. I would like to see the Bulls because I'd like to see Vooch back to play.
Bulldog, just so we're clear here, one of the key elements of being the 7th playoff position means if you happen to lose that first game, you're going to get another shot at it, not just automatically be purged.
If the Magic win the first play-in game Tuesday, they advance into the playoffs against the 7 seed, which is the Celtics. If they lose, yes, they fall back and will play the winner of the 9-10 game, which will probably be the Bulls versus the Heat or the Hawks versus the Heat. And the winner of that game would be the number 8 seed in the playoffs and would play the Cavaliers, which are the number 1 seed. So,
so let's not start talking crap about the Celtics here at the 2nd seed, Bulldog. All right, just back it back down a little bit.
I would rather the Magic play the Cavaliers in the first round. I think they would have a better shot at the Cavaliers, but we shall see. Obviously, they're not going to intentionally lose the first play-in game for a chance to to play in the second play-in game and play the Cavaliers. So,
Bulldog. Meanwhile, over in Tampa.
Wait, real quick. Should the Magic rest their starters for the last 2 games now that they're locked in?
How about
keep the momentum going?
How about limited play? Let them see some court time, but then back it down, maybe.
I don't know. I would rest them.
I don't know if I'd rest them. They're just now kind of getting in sync. I think you kind of leave it like that.
As fragile as the Magic are, I would not risk any sort of injury whatsoever.
Right. Bulldog, Lightning last night dropping a tough game to the division-leading Maple Leafs. Had a chance to close that gap down with just a handful left. They end up losing in overtime 4-3. Ouch. Ouch.
How are my Blackhawks doing?
They've been eliminated.
Son of a gun.
All right, let's make our picks. The Masters tees off this morning. Who are we taking in the Masters?
I'm already on the record.
Okay, you're already taking the big meathead. Bryson DeChambeau. The betting favorite is the Chef, Scotty Scheffler. So I'm sure that's who Taco's taking. Is that right?
He's been my player for just like the Chiefs. You guys give me a hard time about that, but that's who my team was as soon as Manning left the Colts. I was like, I got to have a good role model, and Patrick was that. No, I'm going to go Oberg.
You're going Oberg?
Yeah, I'm going Oberg.
So you're leaving the Chef to me. You know what? I'm not going to pick the favorite. I'm not going to pick the sentimental favorite either, Rory. I'm going to go off the board. Not off the board, but I'm going to vote John Rahm, coming from the Live Tour, where he's sort of been invisible. And John Rahm, I think John Rahm is poised to do something at this Masters. So
all right.
John Rahm.
So we have Meathead down for Pat, Rahm for Dog, and Oberg for me.
Dog, did you see the Tyreek Hill story?
I'm Oberg with a strong chef, by the way. You know what I'm getting at.
You can't have two. You can't have two golfers.
Just wants a default, a fallback.
Yeah, that's who I always represent.
Police were called to the home of Tyreek Hill and his wife for a domestic dispute. On Monday, although no charges were filed, officers responded to a call from Hill's mother-in-law who told them that Tyreek was being very aggressive and impulsive, and she was afraid for her daughter. According to the mother-in-law, Hill and his wife got into an argument. He threw her laptop to the floor before grabbing their 4-month-old daughter and heading to the balcony of their 35th floor apartment. She also told the officers that the wife told the officers that she and Hill had been attending couples therapy. It wasn't working, and they are filing for divorce. So this is just the latest in the Tyreek Hill saga.
Hey, when did he move beachside? I know he used to have that kind of that big old property inland, where he had the backyard tackling session where
and the kid setting fire in the attic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, but
maybe it's two places. I don't know.
Yeah, the Dolphins are just stuck with this guy. I mean, he's obviously a cancer. He's a distraction. He's been a distraction ever since the season opener last year where he got arrested and had the altercation with police on the way to the stadium. Then, of course, at the end of the season, he essentially implied that he wants out of Miami. I'm out, bro. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do. He's still good, so they can't just cut him. They would love to trade him, but I don't know if anybody is going to offer anything of value for him because he's such a distraction.
Do you think there's any chance, you guys, that maybe he sees the light and just shuts up and goes out there and puts up?
No.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wait, hey, why did he go to the balcony? Was he trying to pull a Michael Jackson?
I don't know what he was. Yeah.
God, I hope not.
Yeah. So, by the way, Luka Doncic makes his return to Dallas last night after the ill-fated trade. So the Mavericks, he just went off last night, scored 45 points, led the Lakers over the Mavericks. Mavericks fans are chanting "Fire Nico" the entire game. Nico Harrison is the GM who made the trade.
That could have been a prime situation where how that taste would be applicable, Bulldog.
Yeah. By the way, that's going to go down as the worst trade in modern sports history.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right. Mike the Bulldog Bianchi, host of Open Mic weekday mornings on adjacent to us, AM 740 and FM 96.9 The Game. Of course, he takes the time out to join us for the sports page on JRR each morning.
By the way, a happy birthday to the great Brian Setzer of the Stray Cats. Oh! Oh!
Luce and Taco. On demand. Download the iHeartRadio app.